It was 9:47 on a warm summer evening when Sarah heard the sound every dog owner dreads. A sharp gag, then another. She looked up from the television just in time to see her golden retriever, Max, standing by the patio door, drool hanging from his mouth in long, sticky strings. He wasn't barking. He wasn't wagging his tail. He kept swallowing over and over, pawing at his muzzle as if something was terribly wrong. Just minutes earlier, he'd been happily chasing a ball around the garden. Now he seemed restless, pacing in circles before suddenly lying down, only to jump back up again. Sarah rushed outside and noticed a few torn leaves scattered beneath a flowering shrub she'd planted only a few months before, because the garden center had labeled it easy to grow. Her first thought wasn't the plant at all. She panicked, wondering if Max had somehow found a hidden piece of chocolate left over from the weekend. She reached for a bottle of hydrogen peroxide after remembering something she'd read online about making dogs vomit. But before she could do anything, her phone rang. It was her neighbor, a retired veterinary nurse, who asked one simple question. What plant is growing beside your patio? That single question changed everything, because the leaves Max had chewed were far more dangerous than the chocolate Sarah was worried about. And what she was about to give him could have made the situation even worse. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Daniel Carter, your neighborhood veterinarian. Cases like this are far more common than most people realize, because many dangerous plants are sold as beautiful ornamentals, without any warning that curious dogs may see them as an interesting new toy or snack. Every spring and summer, emergency veterinary clinics see dogs that have eaten flowers, shrubs, bulbs, or leaves their owners never imagined could be harmful. Today, I want to help you understand why that happens, how to recognize the warning signs early, what you can safely do at home in those first critical moments, and just as importantly, what you should never do. If you enjoy practical, science-based advice that helps you keep your dog safe without unnecessary panic, consider subscribing because every video is designed to help you make calmer, smarter decisions when your pet needs you most. Before we talk about specific plants, we need to understand something that surprises many owners. There isn't one single plant poison. Different plants harm the body in completely different ways. Imagine your dog's body as a busy city, where every organ has a different job. The heart is the power station. The brain is the control center. The liver is the recycling plant. The kidneys are the water treatment system. Different plant toxins target different parts of that city. Some interfere with the electrical signals that keep the heart beating normally. Others damage rapidly dividing cells in the digestive system. Some affect the nervous system, causing tremors or seizures. Others form tiny crystal-like structures that irritate the mouth the instant they're chewed. That's why two dogs can both eat plants from the garden yet develop completely different symptoms. Take lilies as an example. Many people know they're extremely dangerous for cats, but they don't carry the same level of kidney toxicity in dogs. On the other hand, plants such as oleander contain naturally occurring cardiac glycosides, chemicals that interfere with the normal electrical activity of the heart. Even a relatively small amount can become a medical emergency. Sago palms are another example. Their seeds are especially dangerous because they contain toxins that can severely damage the liver. Meanwhile, plants such as dumb cane or peace lily contain microscopic calcium oxalate crystals. These needle-shaped crystals don't usually poison the body in the same way as oleander or sago palm, but they can cause immediate pain, excessive drooling, pawing at the mouth, and difficulty swallowing because of the intense irritation they create. This is why simply asking whether a plant is poisonous isn't enough. The real question is which toxin you're dealing with, how much your dog ate, what part of the plant was consumed, and how large your dog is. A tiny puppy chewing the seed of a highly toxic plant faces a very different level of risk compared with a large adult dog that briefly mouthed a mildly irritating leaf. Veterinary medicine is rarely about one-size-fits-all answers. It's about understanding the whole picture. Let's move to the next part because this is where you can become an important observer before you ever leave home. Your job isn't to diagnose your dog. That's our job at the clinic. Your job is to collect useful information safely. Start by looking, not touching. Is there obvious chewing damage on a plant? Are there missing berries, seeds, flowers, or bulbs? Can you identify the plant or take several clear photographs from different angles, including the leaves, flowers, and any fruit? Those photos can be incredibly valuable because many plants look similar when described over the phone. Now watch your dog quietly for a minute. Is the drooling coming from obvious mouth irritation, or is your dog repeatedly vomiting? Is the dog walking normally, or does it seem weak or unsteady? Is breathing calm, or does it appear labored? Check whether your dog is alert and responding normally to your voice. If it's safe to do so, gently look inside the mouth without forcing it open. You're simply looking for obvious pieces of plant material or signs of swelling. Never put your fingers deep into your dog's mouth if they're distressed or painful, because even the gentlest dog may bite when frightened. Here's another myth I hear almost every week in the clinic. Many owners believe that if their dog seems perfectly normal for the first 15 or 20 minutes, everything must be fine. Unfortunately, that's simply not true. Some plant toxins cause immediate irritation, but others take hours before the liver, heart, or nervous system begins showing obvious signs of damage. Feeling fine right now does not guarantee that the danger has passed. That's one reason why identifying the plant quickly is often more important than waiting for symptoms to appear. Another common misconception is that dogs somehow know which plants are safe to eat. While some animals naturally avoid certain toxic plants, domestic dogs are curious. Puppies especially explore the world with their mouths. A bored dog may chew leaves, sticks, flowers, or bulbs simply because they're available. Curiosity isn't protection against toxicity. Now let's talk about the mistake that sends many cases from manageable to genuinely dangerous. As soon as owners suspect their dog has eaten something poisonous, many rush online and immediately find advice telling them to make the dog vomit. The problem is that vomiting is not universally safe. Some substances can cause additional injury coming back up. Dogs that are already weak, struggling to breathe, having seizures, or becoming drowsy are at risk of inhaling vomit into their lungs, creating another life-threatening emergency. Even hydrogen peroxide, sometimes used under veterinary guidance in very specific circumstances, is not a harmless household remedy. It can irritate the stomach and should never be given simply because the internet said it was a good idea. There's another dangerous instinct that catches people by surprise. Owners often try to wipe everything out of the dog's mouth with their fingers after seeing them chew a plant. If the plant contains irritating crystals, your dog is already in pain. Forcing your hand into the mouth can increase stress, trigger a bite, or push fragments farther into the throat. The safer approach is very different. And in the next part, I'll walk you through exactly what to do in those crucial first minutes after discovering your dog has chewed a potentially toxic backyard plant, including the simple steps that can genuinely help while avoiding the ones that may make matters worse. The first thing I want you to remember is this. Your goal is not to become an emergency veterinarian in your kitchen. Your goal is to slow the situation down, prevent additional exposure, gather useful information, and get your dog to the right level of care as quickly as possible. Those first few minutes often feel chaotic, but a calm, methodical approach is far more valuable than rushing into a treatment that may not be appropriate. If you actually see your dog chewing a plant, gently move them away from it without creating a game of chase. Many dogs think you're trying to play and may grab another mouthful before you can stop them. Clip on a lead if necessary, and take them indoors or to another safe area. If there are visible pieces of leaf, flower, or stem hanging from the lips or resting loosely on the tongue, you can carefully remove only those pieces that are easy to reach. Never reach deep into the throat, and never pull forcefully on anything you cannot clearly see. One simple safety rule is worth remembering for every pet owner. Never insert your fingers blindly into your dog's mouth, because you can accidentally cause injury to yourself or your dog. If the plant appears to be one that causes immediate mouth irritation, such as those containing calcium oxalate crystals, gently offering small amounts of fresh drinking water may help rinse away some of the irritating plant material. Some veterinarians may also recommend flushing the mouth gently with clean, room-temperature water if your dog allows it calmly. The important word here is gently. Do not force water into your dog's mouth with a syringe or squeeze bottle, because a frightened dog can inhale liquid into the airway. If your dog refuses to drink, don't wrestle with them. Simply move on to the next step and seek advice. Now comes one of the most valuable things you can do, and it costs nothing. Take photographs. Photograph the entire plant, the damaged area your dog chewed, any berries or flowers, and any vomit or plant fragments if they are present. If you know the plant's name from a garden label, save that information. If you bought it recently, keep the receipt or take a picture of the label if you still have it. Veterinary teams spend a surprising amount of time identifying unknown plants because treatment depends on what was actually eaten. A clear photograph can save valuable time. Let's move to what I call the first tier of home care. This applies when your dog is bright, alert, breathing comfortably, has only chewed a small amount of an unknown plant, and has not yet developed severe symptoms. Your priority is observation while contacting your veterinary clinic or an animal poison advice service. Watch for repeated vomiting, excessive drooling, weakness, wobbliness, unusual sleepiness, tremors, collapse, or changes in breathing. Make a note of when the exposure happened, because timing helps your veterinarian estimate where the toxin may be in the digestive process. Try not to offer a large meal immediately. Unless your veterinarian advises otherwise, small amounts of fresh water are appropriate, but avoid experimenting with milk, cooking oil, butter, bread, or other popular internet suggestions that have never been shown to neutralize plant toxins.